It is a battle for the last spot here in a trip to Odense for Luminosity and Counter Logic Gaming, both vying for that 6th place spot as we work our way to finding out who that's going to be. I'm going to fly in the standings real quick to kind of better paint you a picture at home while Eric paints himself a Birmingham.
Wow, how did you do that from here? How did you make that show up? That's actually crazy.
I thought it, therefore it is.
I've been trying to figure out the pattern for the longest time, and I guess it comes down to CLG and LG. If CLG gets any points here, which means if they even go to overtime and lose, then no matter what LG do, they cannot make playoffs.
And that's because they have the better head-to-head.
That's right.
So let's make sure that we have that point out there as well. Yeah, so I mean, you're talking about two teams here just holding on to the very end. CLG having the upper hand in this point.
Yeah, holding on to the very end, and a lot of bitter memories doing that. But with CLG, I mean, again, as you said before, they just need a loss in overtime, and they make it. And Luminosity, well, who's going to win? Who do you think's going to win, Trace?
I think CLG barely beat Splyce there. So ultimately, if a better CLG shows up right now, they should be, for all intents and purposes, walking away with this one. Anyway, let's take a look at this real quick to see how that one boiled over in the pot that is known as DE Train.
And this is where RNG comes the best. You see Ricky's up top. He's waiting. He's trying to get a kill. And look, I'm spraying. I'm spraying. It's the worst.
Should have bought a Negev.
Should have bought a Negev. At least you'd have 70 more bullets right there, or 65 if you want to do math.
I don't think we should go down that route because you don't really know how long it's been that he's been holding down mouse once. You don't know how many Negev bullets he would have had.
Okay,
but
so let's not go there.
Let's
just say that it came down to 7 health and they could have already been to land. Keep it simple.
All right, let's go.
Well, listen, the parameters are this. LG must win in regulation while CLG loses in regulation. And with that, it's quite a weird sort of, all right, what if theory strike going on around here, different take on theory strike.
It could happen.
It could happen. And I'm going to say there's a 50% chance that it does happen.
Oh.
It's a weird sort of thing. When I started doing math, it was like 50% this, 50% that. But ultimately, the only percentages we need to see are from Betway. That's right, flying them in right now. The viewer at home picking Splyce as the least favorite in winning that last spot to Odense.
Yeah, I think CLG, I mean, they should be the favorite. They are the better team on record, and in the history has shown that, you know, if you do better in tournaments, you should be the better team, right?
Yeah, I mean, they have it all to play for here, and Splyce doesn't really have as much to play for. So sometimes that can actually help a team like Splyce. Without any pressure, they can just, you know, come out, do business, get headshots, play the game, and have fun, right? They don't have to worry about any kind of ancillary, like, motivation. They just have fun playing the game that they enjoy.
It's weird because, and I'm not saying this about Splyce, but there's also that same sort of connotation about, like, a dead team walking almost has that same vibe. It's like somehow they find success towards the very end. I don't know. It's some sort of weird, fresh breath.
At least they're not getting auto-relegated, right?
Auto-relegation is not somewhere you want to be. Let's go ahead and fly the standings in one more time before we jump into this matchup so that you can understand. James, will you please walk us through this?
All right, so basically the top 5 teams are going to be going to Denmark, and it all comes down to 6 and 7, CLG and Luminosity Gaming, right? So these last 2 maps are the only things that are going to change the playoff race. If CLG does anything except for lose straight out, right? If they make it to overtime, they go to playoffs. If they lose in overtime, they go to playoffs. If they win, they go to playoffs, right? So if they lose, they open the door for Luminosity to get to playoffs, only if Luminosity win.
Well, no matter what, no matter how you spin this, we're already living in the upside down when it comes to things having to happen one way for it to open the doorway to another dimension. And that dimension is a world where Cloud9 is not going to the playoffs yet. One of these two teams in CLG or Luminosity are. We're going to go ahead and throw it over to our commentators now who are ready to bring us the last map for the last time on the last night.
All right. Thank you very much. So that's a nice little.
That was kind of sad.
Nice little way to phrase it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all coming to an end.
Everything must come to an end eventually.
Wow, that was darker.
Yeah.
We went darker on that.
We all turned to dust and go back into the earth. But enough on that. Let's get a little bit brighter here and go back to things. The CLG still have a chance to qualify after dropping that last map there against Splyce. They're going to go over towards, or excuse me, they're going to go over towards Cash to settle things here and see if they have the potential to push forward and make it into the playoffs still. Or if not, well, then that's going to open up an opportunity for LG to be able to do it. But that also relies on LG winning in regulation, not OT.
Winning in regulation, yeah. Which is, you know, that's another out at least. But yeah, I think at this point it's pretty even footing. Like Splyce showed that they could beat CLG. They're playing them again. It seemed like maybe CLG succumbed to the pressure a little bit and couldn't close out that last map. Tough first half, good comeback, but then didn't close out those last few rounds. And then and Luminosity had a pretty big comeback, I think, on their map and won, or something of a comeback, and won their map. And now are playing another map where potentially they could straight up win it. So, I mean, I think, you know, it's not even about which one of these teams will qualify. Like, it's not even about will CLG qualify or not. It's who's going to qualify.
Well, to start it off, Mitch will get a good shot, but he's going to be very quickly overwhelmed after that. 4 guys suddenly peeking around the corner at the B halls will surprise you a little bit. Roka and Davey are holding it together. They're both of them picking up some kills, and with Davey's third, it leaves only Cutler alive in the corner with a few more shots from Davey. He'll seal the deal, giving Splyce the advantage to start off the second map between these two teams.
On the Rodenze, Splyce started out 1-0, quick start, good stuff. Simple headshots hit. B setup was fairly easy. There was nothing complicated about what they were doing. They just played a headshot and checker position, held that crossfire, waited for rotates, got all their headshots, and now have an anti-eco. It's actually CLG to force up quite a bit, and although Cutler doesn't have any armor, he also bought a scout, I think, because he was able to get a pistol kill in the first round. Good way to supplement that. And they have to try to find a crack in the defense.
It is going to be CLG continuing to play things very slowly here as they look, as you were saying, for a bit of a crack in the defense here. But not finding much at this point. Splyce staying consistent, staying passive too. Which while Mitch will get tagged here at mid, and we'll open up some room for CLG to move in and take control. This is going to remain passive for Splyce, it seems, up until the bitter end, when CLG eventually have to group up and go for an execute in about, say, 15 seconds or so.
That would be the ideal situation. You don't want to leave it to the last 30, because you don't have time to rock it back if necessary, so on and so forth. They do have a player at A just to keep their options open. It looks like, yeah, they are using him to help them go back to the other side of the map. Now, he actually walked out mid, which can be nice as well.
And with that control, he's going to be able to hold it right here for now, cutting off any earlier rotates from Z or anything like that. But the rest of the team still very much inching towards B. And they will move in with only 30 seconds remaining, but there is also only one player within the site. So another guy, Tree Room, he'll be smoked off, and okay, he's going to continue to push through. Roka, for the most part, shutting down the hit, but finally traded out by Rikke. The rest of the team very split up, but Rikke is going to be able to continue doing work with the Deagle in his hand. It's brought it down to 3 CTs now, but with drones killed, it has put CLG on the back foot of things again, and Rikke is so close to being able to take out Semphis, but will fail just before he gets the kill. Cutler, though, holding on, gets one more for himself. And Semphis as well will be able to move back in, taking out Cutler, and finally securing the second round for Splyce.
It's a close round, great shots hit from Rikke, and at least that was some economic damage dealt. Now Splyce will rebuy up. They know that, they know that CLG won't be buying armor once again, so they can go ahead and invest in some of those cheaper SMGs. MP7 can cost quite a bit, but it's also, I mean, it's pretty good. It's definitely a good gun. It's just very expensive. And it's hard to recoup your losses when you go into a anti-eco. You've got to kill like multiple people. So MP9, I feel like, solid gun, just as good of a chance. A lot cheaper.
So this is going to continue. Oh, trying to hide in that corner, but he's actually taken down early on here. Again, not necessarily the cleanest round to start, but they're recovering it nicely. Looks a little flick there from Drone, too. And actually, Davey is the one that gets the full kill there, but Mitch will secure the final 2, and much, much better from Splyce that time.
Let's see what they do now that Semphis is the one player that died. They actually, I was just curious if they're going to get an op. It looks like they're just going to have a rifle up on him. I think he stopped opping, and it looks like Mitch is going to be the one to pick it up. So that's going to be an interesting adjustment. Five AKs out for CLG, and again, the stakes couldn't be higher. Splyce off to a 3-0 lead. If they actually win this, we'll be talking about whether or not LG are going to Odense as opposed to CLG, who the narrative was kind of around them just because they had such a high likelihood of doing it based on the standings yesterday. But at this point, you know, it's 50-50 in my opinion.
Could go either way, and CLG are going to have to step up big time starting right now on these gun rounds if they want to be able to earn that 6th and final slot. We already have the other 5 slots locked down and confirmed between both of our teams, or all 5 of our teams, I guess I should say. And that once again is confirmed at this point to be Optic, SK, along with Misfits, Team Liquid, and NRG. So only 1 slot is remaining for North America here.
Oh, whoa. Spam through Squeaky. Nice headshot from Semphis, and it's already the 5v4.
Good way to start it for Splyce if they want to keep this advantage going. Ethan begins to crawl out too. And with that position, he'll be able to find the trade over onto Semphis. Back down into a 4v4. Very light A presence too. Not only this, but Davey should get mollied out from quad. He's not going to be immediately eliminated, but they should have just seen him wrapping around here. He'll quickly pop flash himself forward. And it's a good one too, blinds up quite a few players, but he's still not able to get anything done. It's Roka that finds really the only kill in the back lane, and now he and Mitch are the only two players left alive. They've ultimately lost the massive advantage they had in defending this site before, and are now going to have to look for a 2v3 retake. They've got 2 smokes, quite a few flashbangs to get back into the site with too, so they can bargain themselves quite a bit of room in order to get forward. Still though, it's not going to be much if spams end up coming through the smoke and hitting them. Ethan taking down Roka will solidify a save from Mitch, and that's going to give CLG their first round on the board.
Yeah, I wonder if he actually gets away. This bomb is... Okay, yeah, Kus doesn't actually hunt that way, so not seeing him in CT, going to look in another place, and him being in their spawn, I think might catch him off guard. Very important, as I highlight this, very important that he holds on to the op. Incredibly valuable, but they lose the 5v4 after grabbing it so nicely, and Semphis gets killed at forklift, and then the site gets taken. And I wonder if they couldn't have tightened up a little bit, but it was really good for CLG to not give up on the site, I think. It clearly was their best opportunity to try to win the round right there. They've still got to win 2 more to tie up. Splyce put together a buy because they have this op to work with, and they actually pick up another op as well. And in situations where you're not necessarily keen on double opping, if you're on a force-up like this, having the best gun you could possibly get, like an op, can really complement another one when you've got SMGs and pistols in the middle.
So now, with us getting ready for the next execute from CLG, things are going to continue to play out relatively slowly here. It's a bit of a slow opener to the map, or the round once again, with CLG not necessarily choosing to take control anywhere, but that's going to change now with Kusta going over top and taking quick mid control. They actually use quite a bit of utility in order to control. There's at least 3 Molotovs getting thrown out there, so they've only got 1 left sitting on Kusta for the actual site take. This will open up mid for them. They're going to take easy control, and now it's just a matter of translating this onto one of the 2 sites. Roka also sits patiently in that corner, waiting for something to ring through. They definitely have an inkling that it's going to be coming over towards B, primarily because Semphis was allowed to hard push A main and was not punished forward at all. So he has all that intel over there. I think just off of that alone, they're going to assume it'll move into the B site. So they've still got 2 at B. Roka, though, holds and gets the double kill from hiding inside here. Spam from the other side. We'll trade him back out a second later. Ethan is the one that finally kills him. But you still have Davey on the site, and he's got an op to play with. That's a dangerous gun. Hits one and drones on the right side, too, as he finds another pickup. Only FNS left alive now, and it's going to stay that way as he goes down. Drone takes him out, and Splyce retake their advantage at 4-1.
That's a sick way to steal back the momentum. What a round from Roka. I mean, he had barely enough bullets. Last one to the face of Kusta, both falling at events. It's a tough shot to hit. I mean, you're following players in a position that you're not used to, at like a weird angle and distance and speed, and obviously, you know, it's Roka, so his laser-focused aim comes through, and suddenly CLG are saving once again. Critical moment where if they won that round, they'd be able to tie it up immediately. Probably would have been the double save for Splyce, and you know, suddenly the tables have turned.
Smokes out early again from Splyce to try and restrict CLG if they wanted to go for a bit of a rush play. They're still going to go for it, and Drone seems to be ready to take the challenge, waiting at forklift. It's not just him either. He has support further back behind him at the crossroads and on the site in a second, too, as Semphis is going to take up a position at quad. So CLG did decide to roll in. They would be very ready to fight. It looks like they might be changing up their game plan, though. FNS got all the way into checkers without any contest at all. So that's a pretty good amount of control that he was able to get for free. Although, again, I'm not entirely sure if it's going to sway the rest of the team and convince them to execute into that site, as they still have 3-4 players lined up ready to go into A at a moment's notice. And also, FNS is now dead, so that has limited their options even more so. Semphis holds. He is going to get randomly dinked there, but it's not for all that much damage. Only knocks off 20 of his HP. And simply a matter of time, really, for me, although, oh no, maybe not. Rikke and Cutler both getting a kill on the Deagle. With their health pools being drained down this low, it's still going to make it very, very tough to win out in a 2v3 scenario here. Rikke's actually going to take the bomb back outside, so I'm a little bit curious where he's headed.
Oh. someone might hear this. Yeah, Roka's already made his way to vents just in case. And so they might rock it back. But they're also pulling a couple of CTs out, so we'll see if this has an adverse effect. Spawn works it back way back to A.
A big 2v2 on the site because Roka's still positioned away, but Mitch has found Rick A coming outside now, and Cutler is low as he is. Just 1 or 2 more bullets will finish off the job, and it'll be Davey that does it finally. Splyce do secure the round and put it up to 5-1 in their favor. Also going to be a pause, I assume, from CLG.
Yeah, well, they gave it a shot, and we're gonna throw it to Trace to get an update on LG.
Luminosity picking up a huge round right there in an effort to find their way to 16 rounds. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the scoreboard here. You're going to see how this one's breaking down across. As you can see, Shinobi having a pretty good game alongside Aneka's down there for Luminosity. Either way, they do have their work cut out for them still. We got 6 rounds in. We're going for 7, and we're going to be cutting back into the other game here any second now, so make sure you don't go anywhere.
All right, thank you very much, Sutta. And our game over here should be resuming now. Splyce continues try and dash CLG's dreams and got them out of the running for playoff contention. That does rely, of course, on Luminosity still losing outright their other match. But we'll have to wait and see exactly how that goes. This time it's going to be very aggressive from Splyce, pushing into A main. They've already got their first kill on the board. Rick A doesn't stand a chance there, as he was not ready for that fight at all. And on a round where CLG not only have now limited manpower, aside the limited utility that you can already see, which would become a problem for them. This is going to make things even more difficult. Oh, that jump.
Noise.
They're still going to commit to it, though. They know they're here. Davey just spots the feet of Ethan. That's going to bring him down low. However, they do... Ooh, look at this. Davey's playing with fire right now. Gets himself up on top of the light post. Just nonchalantly closes the door on the way back to NBK spot, and he'll be safe to hang out over here. Yeah,
that was pretty smooth. That was a pretty smooth move from Davey to close the door as well, and reset CLG.
They, for the most part, been countered out here now, so they're going to fall back and away from A main, giving up on this quest for right now. However, not giving up on it entirely, it would seem. Looks like they're actually going to roll back in a second and try to recommit from A main. I think more than anything, they were just scared of the CTs establishing more aggressive presence here, so wanted to avoid that, and they got themselves out of dodge. But now they're going to be ready to re-execute, and it is a 2-2 split for the CTs, so defensive setup is going to be a little bit weak if they're not able to multi-frag. Drone will probably take the first contest as he hears players rolling back out. He's got the off angle, though, so it's going to be a bit difficult. Relies on Davey. Drone, a smooth second kill, though, as he begins to shut these players down, and he'll grab one more before being traded by FNS. FNS now stands alone with very little control, but okay, just walks over into the forklift lane, and Davey's not even looking at him. He easily takes him down from there. Spots other player at upper, will throw the smoke onto the ground and give a ruin to plant, but look at that, tries to mind game Roka, but Roka will get the better of him, and Splyce close out of the round once again.
Man, it would have been just too late, and a 6-1 lead now for Splyce. And again, this is getting into the critical territory. They're having a great half so far. Luminosity are winning their game. It's seriously looking like the narrative's changing quickly, and it's very surprising. I mean, to get this 2-0 out of Splyce, especially this late in the season, we definitely looked at CLG to be the more dominant team. Now it's another eco setup. There's 2 in B, so Mitch has some support, and we'll eat this flash. But
amazed he didn't hit that upshot too, given the amount of T players out there, but Roka is going to come in for the assist as he picks up a quick 3 kills, and Mitch cleans up the stragglers to give Splyce a very quick 7th round.
Damn, 7-1, beast mode right now, and that was a clean eco, tons of money made, lots of rounds left in the half to use it. Good flash here to support, and the Molotov as well, so even past the op shot getting missed, it works out nicely.
Really clean kills coming out from Roka there too, even with the slightly awkward angle that he had to work off of, still manages to spray down and get a massive amount of kills against CLG and punish them once again. But this does finally take them into another gun round where they have full utility. No op to be seen, unfortunately, but they do have 5 AKs and full utility for each and every single player. The best that they could look for here. As they once again will try to put a 2nd round onto the board for themselves. Find some way to fight back into this and stay in the running for playoff contention. Very slow again from them, and in the time that they choose not to take any control across the map and sit back, it does appear as though Splyce are going to take an advantage upon that. They push in towards A main and hold great control there. And it looks like once again have gone for the double boost up on top of Shroud spot there too. It should only keep 1 player there. So now Mitch has been eliminated at mid, so they're going to need to put a little bit more focus on still keeping presence at mid to at least watch for intel.
Yeah, mid-control is going to be huge here. It was good they got that opening frag. They found a perfect spot to attack and barely took any damage for it. But with that Shroud boost, an A hit might be a little bit harder to deal with, a little bit harder for them to take.
Drone's still going to be positioned helping out the Shroud boost player, but Davey swinging out from Z comes out at the bottom of a fight. So does Semphis because they take the highway route, so the Shroud boost is not a surprise anymore. In fact, for the most part, Splyce get utterly destroyed, and Ethan's attempt to kill Roka will fail outright. So Roka survives for now, but he's definitely not going to be attempting the retake. It's time for him to fall back, save this AK for another fight in another day, and that will let CLG finally get a second round up onto the board for themselves.
Yeah, that's important. They did it with majority alive, so they're less worried about getting reset. Though they're in that for perpetuity until they win a second clean round in a row. So it's gonna be important that they do that because of all these rebuys necessary. So Splyce definitely want to capitalize in this next round. They've got tons of money to work with. They could really make it hard for CLG. All the utility they need, Molotovs. They can go double up if they want to. They can grab an auto sniper if they're feeling BM,
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta play to win, dude. No shame.
Whatever gets to the W.
Channel you get right. Exactly.
Yeah. So let's see what Splyce are going to put together here. Still should be a pretty decent buy for themselves even after their loss like that. But yeah, again, you can see that Shroud boost position is just not going to work out when the main execute is coming up highway. Unfortunately, it becomes a very exposed position at that point. Unless you have someone dedicated watching it, it's very easy for yourself to get traded.
That was an awful way to use all those CZ bullets. It's basically a disposable gun. You gotta be careful with this, man.
Drone, though, it's going to get knocked out by FNS, spamming through the smoke. He gets an early kill off of that, which is going to be great for CLG. Exactly what they need to continue picking up these rounds here. Semphis is going to get aggressive, though, and this is a bit dangerous for him. So yeah, not too surprising to see him fall back after just holding that position for a few seconds. They even still have the guy in vents, too, so be a little bit overkill to have that additional presence there, especially since CLG have not gone for, in the past anyway, not gone for a massive amount of mid control. Last round was a bit of an exception. And now, in an attempt to get revenge for the kill against Drone, they are going to boost over the top, and that puts Davey right behind these players. They might have heard them drop down. In fact, they did. FNS instantly takes down Davey, and now reduces the Splyce roster to only 3 players.
Well, what do they do from here? It's actually a great round from CLG. They're picking apart every kill. Oh, opportunity to trade back, but Ethan makes it weird.
Nasty for Mitch. Is not going to be able to pick up anything. It's left to Roka again, and he's in a 1v5, so nothing really recoverable in this round, just trying to save the AK. And even doing that might prove to be a little bit difficult here, with Roka continuing to inch forward, and Ethan positioned to stop him. However, he crosses back into CT, and Roka remains safe in the B site.
Roka's definitely been Weapon X on this team, I think, in a couple of these rounds. But I think with CLG avoiding him, it's been a good call. It's also Splyce getting thinned out a little bit. There's no trades available for them, like when they've been able to take mid. So it's been a key factor for CLG to get that opening kill cleanly. And they make it the 5v3, they execute, like, all the common things you need to do. And it looks like CLG are not intent on looking for Roka, which is probably smart for them. Because they've still got to prove themselves in this half, but again, that's the second round that they get. And they've got a ton of money left over now, so that's a much better place to be in for CLG. It's looking like way more of a real game. I mean, seriously, like the game could have ended right there if Splyce straight up took this.
I mean, you can see some of those entries moving in again, and that bit of a nasty spray from Mitch that ends up costing him in that second 1v1 there. And it has brought Splyce's economy down to pretty much its end point. We can see one final investment for them, and it's not too bad, but if they continue to fail on these rounds or give away kills early on, like we've seen in the past 2 rounds that let CLG have a very straightforward execute, that will lead to them being broken, and potentially CLG now coming back into this matchup with something close to 5 or 6 to 7. Roka has the boosted up position though, and we saw that was going to lead to something if a player ended up going into Sunderman, and so in this case it does. Roka will be able to take down Ricky early on, and that's a free kill. Basically 0 damage is traded from it.
Yeah, beast kill. They've got kind of a low buy here, so I wouldn't be surprised if they went for some more information. I'm not sure if they're if they're intending to, but they did see the bombs. So they know that, you know, CLG are going to be very careful about retrieving it, realizing that Splyce could try to come out and hold them off of getting it. But it is far enough away that it seems like they're not going to call for any CTs to move. That being said, CLG also take further map control in the process. So kind of a 2-for-1 deal here as Ethan has worked his way up to white box and is now a threat to A as well.
Ethan continuing to hide in the back corner, but ooh, Drone as well, looking for his own opportunity to flash back out and take down Ethan as he has overstepped his bounds. A little bit of great flashbang, completely blinds him and allows for Drone to get the kill on Ethan essentially for free.
That was awesome. You see he was planning to flash for himself and then got his teammate to do it.
Now Semphis is in this cubby position too. Oh no, the molly spread though, but
It's doing like 2 damage hit.
looks like he was able to get back out of it, so they assume that that's clear. Big mistake. Semphis takes them both down. Kusta will not be able to hold besides the 1 trade kill on Drone. And that's it. Splyce come back in with the lead at 8-3, but they aren't going to break CLG so easily. They still have at least 1 more full buy.
Yeah, and it all starts with this one play, and sometimes like a gimmick is all you need. I mean, this is a, you know, is a dangerous boost just because you're committing 2 players, both of them on the B site. And if someone snuck up the checkers, you know, they could easily take this tower down. But if you know that the team is going to set up in like some kind of default, and teams will always go sunroom with their single player, that you can just capitalize on that. That can just really change the whole game for you. So. Great round, but CLG, because they did a great job in winning those 2 rounds in a row, have another buy. Semphis going up for the repeat, hits a quick flick onto Ethan. That was pretty intense.
Intense stuff from Semphis, and that's going to once again give Splyce a massive advantage. Another 1-for-1 trade happens, but it's a bit of a peculiar one. Kusta knocks out Drone, but Drone gets his revenge from the grave with an HE grenade. So that brings the CLG roster down to just 2, and now 1, with Davey picking up 1 more kill, and he'll also close it out, taking down FNS. Splyce only 1 round away now from getting up into double digits still all in the first half.
Oh man, it's turned into a really fearsome half, and now we're going to get an update on the LG game because we need to know where they're at. So Trace, let us know.
That's right. Luminosity sitting at a 7-4 lead over Rogue as we go into the later part of this first half. It's been quite a turbulent money game for both sides. But we'll take a quick look at how these teams are putting together. CT a little bit rocky from Rogue, but some of the retakes have been looking a little bit stronger. However, is it going to be enough to take down the likes of Luminosity and the playoff race for them? Here we go, going back into Splyce and Counterlogic Gaming here real shortly. Yeah, so there's that.
Thank you very much, Stunna. We're back to our game now, and we should be resuming it in just a second. As the pause, I believe, should be almost over between these 2 teams. But CLG, needless to say, are struggling in a very big way here, and it could end up costing them their playoffs if they're not careful.
Oh, man, they got to be more than not careful, man. They need to turn this completely around. And Luminosity looked good, man. They had that bunch of rounds in a row. Part of that half that Rogue... of the rounds that Rogue have are 2 from the pistol, and then like 2 of the last 3 rounds. But we see there in that situation a 3v, like 1 after plant situation. So it seems like suddenly Luminosity are figuring their T side out again. It's potential for a much better half of them. So 7-3 right now. Splyce up 9-3. It's looking kind of grim for CLG. Won't lie. I mean, Luminosity are starting to impress for sure.
CLG on a completely saved round here, and with them already getting destroyed by nades early in the round, this should go pretty much as expected. Already 3 of their players dead. The last 2 going to try to rush through B halls, but got Roka ready to stop that, and if he fails, Mitch is there too. But Roka's going to be able to handle it, and it's pretty much, like I said before, as expected, a clean round from Splyce as they now get up to 10.
Yeah, easy anti-eco, simple op shots hits, known going down, and shooting fish in a barrel for Splyce, who have maximum potential now for a 12-3 half. If they do get this 1 rifle rounds, then they pretty much have that in the bag. So if CLG can stop the bleeding early, they can get 5 rounds. And that'll be a much better half, even though it's still lackluster.
Semphis now getting a lot more aggressive here since the play from 2 rounds back worked out well for him. Oh, this time, though, it's Ethan that manages to take down Semphis very early on. Catches him, flashes him out, and with the position on boost, gets a first advantage for CLG that so far has gone unanswered, but it's not going to stay that way for very long. Davey just barely spotting the head of Ethan, now trades him back. And we're even again in a 4v4.
Yeah, Semphis. It's actually Drone moving into Forklift, and Davey from the truck. They've given up mid, played 2-2 sites. I like that. Once you have 1 mid, I don't think there's a good case to to need to try to retake it. And they might pull rotates, however, because there's 2 people over towards B, so they're really going to try to sell this fake.
Very, very heavy presence being put onto it, but look at this drone. Already stopping one player in A main, so the jig is up. This fake is not going to work if they continue on it.
Yeah, they saw the bomb, right? They must have, if they killed one in A main.
Cutler's keeping an eye on it, so I'm pretty sure drone saw him. Which would mean he's going to have to wrap back around and over into the B site if they want to try to find a way to commit. But even B is very well defended currently. Mitch on the site, and oh, he might get caught on timing, but no, Roka just sitting in tree room gets the first kill scot-free. The second one is his as well, so Cutler's now the last man standing. There's really nothing he could do to help his team besides this. He was sitting back with the bomb, trying to stay safe, and now he's been left alone with an impossible task in front of him. Can't even get the first kill. Davey takes him down, and that's Splyce at 11 rounds as we go into the final one of the half.
That was kind of a weird round. I mean, after the drone calls out in the 4v4, goes for the information, gets that opening kill, and then the 2 players at B still commit, but then the 1 player with the bomb is like walking back from A main, and if his teammates get the kills in B, then he's gonna go plant it at site that they have to go back to. But if he's not going towards B, why are they committing if he's the only one with the bomb? So it seemed like a really weird situation, and maybe CLG are losing a bit of clarity, but Splyce about to have a fantastic half. And look at this man.
Drone, he's going to be able to push forward and just dominate the entire CLG roster. Kusta, Ethan, both getting knocked out. And we have FNS as well trying to boost over the top here, but that's still being spotted for by Mitch. He won't immediately kill him, but after some time is going to be able to lock down that headshot. Roka does get spotted on a flank, but still, ooh, okay, hold on now, because Rikke also takes down Semphis, so this has all of a sudden brought the round back to life, and what was seeming to be another Splyce shutdown, now it's an even bout down to a 2v2. Cutler, though, might have just been heard, or excuse me, Mitch might have just heard Cutler.
Yeah, that's definitely one way to blow a man advantage, and in a situation where the other team doesn't have great guns or anything like that. But this round still might not be over. Mitch is here pretty aggressively on the boost. It's not a great place to be just because someone goes over the boost, okay, but then if someone comes walking out mid, they see your feet. You've got to flick pretty quickly and adjust. So it's kind of a 50-50, but it is also a 2v2, and they probably don't feel that safe.
They're just going to keep falling back.
We already have the info on B.
So he's going to be able to go back up to the site and spot for this. He's still going to be alone, though. That's what he's got to be careful of. Davy's quite a long while away, but a smoke will delay that fight temporarily. However, with the smoke in position, I believe... Oh, no, Cutler's checking for it, but looks away right now. Did he see him come out of the smoke? Apparently he did. Cutler instantly knocks out Mitch, but we've got Davey, and he should have gotten the trade there. Might still be able to get it with the molly, but he's got to be very careful. The spam goes in. It takes down Cutler, but he runs out of ammo right before he kills Rikke. He's still alive at 7 HP. Well, he's off the bomb. Davey's got to move a little bit quicker than this. He's still got the molly in the way. Pushes right through the molly in order to get the kill, and it's not even over the bomb. So Davey's got plenty of time to defuse this and secure number 12 for Splyce as they take a massive lead at the end of the first half. Stick with us, ladies and gentlemen, to see if CLG can come back at all as their playoff dream quickly becomes a playoff nightmare here. They're going to have to recover right after this.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, the City of Odense, GeForce GTX, Lenovo Legion, Bedway, Pay Safeguard, Logitech G, Mountain Dew League, Xfinity, and ESEA.
We are back again, guys, with the final day of action here at EPL. The day just keeps getting more and more interesting because of the fact that Splyce won on that previous map, they actually overtook Immortals' position, which is just out of relegation, which now means Immortals are going to have to play a relegation match to stay in Pro League next season. And that is certainly not something anyone would have expected coming into the start of this season.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy. So, I mean, of all the teams, depending on where the roster lands next season, I would be kind of comfortable with the thought of Immortals have to play against some premier NA team to make sure that they could stay in. Or do they play against a? They would play against a premier.
They would play in that position. I think they play against the third place premier team.
Okay.
If I remember it.
Yeah, honestly, it's one match. You don't want to put anything to one match, but I think that it'd be okay for them, more so than another team like Rogue, Ghost, or.
It depends on and I'm actually just remembering now because last thing they did as a full-on bracket. So it might not be just one match. It might actually be like a full like best of 3 bracket that they have to play through too. So I think it's them, the other team that's playing relegation, which at the moment I think is Rogue, and then obviously the 2 premier teams that didn't get first but get in second and third. So the second and third place premier / Mountain Dew League teams, and then the second to last 2 Pro League teams, which in this case is going to be probably Rogue and Immortals.
Okay. Yeah, but that's a pretty intense situation to be in. Kind of interesting that we see that develop with the Splyce victory and what looks like back-to-back Splyce victories. This is a pretty damning half. I mean, 12-3, they 4 rounds, and they literally like destroyed CLG's potential chances of winning. LG are winning their match too. I mean, we literally went from drawing a narrative about how CLG were looking like they were going to Odense to Luminosity are almost certainly going.
They were
to Odense.
1 round away.
One
from the
point.
last map.
And
yeah.
one round
away.
1 round away.
Which is really just, it might be the icing on the cake, unfortunately, for this CLG roster.
And it wasn't like 1 round away where you have 5 alive. I don't know, like it was 1 round away where 1 bullet made the difference.
Yep, literally 1 bullet could have decided if they went to playoffs or not. So,
and maybe you shouldn't have come that close. There's always that argument, but it was like 1 bullet. Maybe Ricky shouldn't have crouched. Maybe. Who knows,
So much, but they can still recover here as they get the first 3 kills in the pistol. Traded back, however, with Sempus and Davey, which is going to let the 2 remaining players in Splyce get onto the site. Davey's got dualies, which is always fun. He's already got a kill with it, too. So let's see if he can pick up anything more than that. The jumping at quad, I'm usually not a fan of. So if CLG saw that, they're going to know he's back here, Sempus. Ooh, hiding in plain sight, though. Trying to hide the smoke. He gets taken down. Davey, he's trying to go cowboy style here, but it's not going to happen. Kusta takes him down. And it'll be CLG that win the pistol and buy a ticket to get back into this game.
Maybe they had different cereal. Maybe they didn't go to the gym last night. Maybe they didn't get 8 hours.
CLG or Splyce?
Maybe it just wasn't a good sleep. Maybe it was 8 hours, but it wasn't quality REM sleep.
That's getting scientific there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to put sleep monitors on players now to make sure they're getting enough.
I mean, who knows what it comes down to, dude? It could have been Gaben, but it could have been something personal. It could have been, who knows, pistols. It just, 1 round, 1 moment.
1 bullet.
1 bullet.
Whew.
The documentary with the sad ending.
Of the downfall of CLG.
Oh my God.
So let's see here for Splyce if they can recover on this, as they did do the raid boss by 2nd round, which I'm always a big fan of. It's interesting, it shakes things up a little bit. It's not going to start too well. They lose the Deagle player right out, or they lose the AK player right off the bat. That's going to be Roka taken out.
Let's see. It seems like CLG have pretty good control over this round. Man up. Splyce have invested as well. Can't recover, or there's no gun to recover, it seems. And with mid control, are poised for the B split. Rotates haven't come up for CLG, so maybe there's a chance here.
Okay, still holding, however. Oh, at the position over here at head glitch, but that's going to be Sempus taking him down as soon as he peeks up. Oh, and even worse, Cutler also goes down completely unanswered. Kusta is going to have to move in and save this. He gets the first trade. We'll have to look for a lot more than that. There's still 3 players from Splyce well and standing. They did see Semphis go back to the B halls. There won't be any flank to worry about, so this does serve to help CLG a little bit. But at the same time, CLG are coming back in directly from Tree Room in Heaven, which is always a little bit difficult to make that happen. Good news is, though, the smoke over at Team A lets Kusta spam, and he gets 2 more kills. All the work is being done by Kusta currently. Now, the layer they haven't checked is going to be back over here at Checkers. A sacrifice. Oh my god, Drone lines up these shots. It's amazing. He doesn't immediately kill the 3rd player, but now FNS spamming it down. He doesn't have the angle for this. He's going to have to go out. He's got a kit. He'll get the kill, though, and Splyce upset, steal the round right out of CLG's hands, and now Splyce is 3 away from beating CLG and potentially killing their playoff chances.
It had to be a Galil, didn't it?
Had to be a Galil.
Oh my god.
And after Kusta does so much work, too, to get them that way back into the site, it all just falls apart so quickly.
Kusta did everything. He saw Semphis jumping away, throws the B main smoke. Semphis has a kind of a, I don't know what he was doing, spraying through the smoke standing there. He needed to really stay alive. That was not a fight. He had a better likelihood of winning considering his whole body was exposed and only Kusta's head was there. But, you know, Drone comes through with a 1v3 with the Galil after all is said and done. Unbelievable. Of
course, CLG are going to look to upset in response to that kind of a loss, so they buy into this one as heavily as they can. And they have started off with a 1-1 trade, which is also going to give FNS the capability to walk right in and pick up the MAC-10. So he's got a little bit of extra firepower to play with here at the edge of the squeaky hallway. He's going to have to make sure that he stays ready for that, though, as I believe Splyce are going to try to push him out in a moment here. They'll do it together, though, but that's a bit of a tight choke point. You can't really send 2 players through that. Thankfully for Splyce, Mitch wins in the initial duel, takes him down, and drops the only real weapon that CLG have in this round.
Oh, Nate comes out just in time. Davey gets tagged with the smoke. Guys, is his escape and the bomb as well is escorted out. Who knows what would have happened if they got that kill and pushed through.
Cutler still picked up 1 kill elsewhere. And Ricky, the snapshot on Naroka. Say goodbye to him. No way he's surviving that. Make the plant just to make sure there's no one that surprises them and hides close by. But with the bomb down, it's still a 2v3. CLG are not out of this round by any means necessary. Drone spots that lighter player, but he spots him too late. He's going to get aggressive, though, pushing the truck. Finds the kill on Ricky. Ethan will push him, trying to find the trade. It's a messy spray from Drone, but on one of the last bullets, he hits the headshot, knocking out Ethan. Cutler's now the last man standing, and Semphis will get the easy closeout. Back by NBK to give Splyce their 14th, and now completely break CLG's money.
Damn. Oh my god, another one. Nail in the coffin. And we're going to go right back to Trace. It's getting tight for CLG, but it's also maybe tight for LG. We'll find out. Trace, let us know.
Wow. Who would have ever thought that the season would have ended up this way? Right now, we're sitting at a 13-8 scoreline currently as we look back at a 13-6. Either way, if CLG lose and LG win, Luminosity is going to the playoffs and not CLG. An interesting way that this one has turned out and just how close it has been. LG showing up in their own and Shinobi doing as much as he can over on Rogue, but it's probably not going to be enough at the end of the day. Let's see how the rest of this one plays out.
Thank you very much, Stunna. So once again, we should remind you guys of how this is going to work if CLG loses. That's the current way that things are going. If they lose, the only way that CLG will at that point make it into playoffs is if we see a loss from Luminosity in their game. With them being ahead 13-6, that's also unlikely at this point in time. So we will have to wait and see, of course, for that result. But with the way things are currently going, it is looking very likely that Luminosity will be taking the 6th slot at Pro League Finals, not CLG.
That is unbelievable. That is actually crazy.
And not the best way to start off one of the last 4 spies from CLG either. Cutler over-peaking slightly at Checkers, gives him away, and he was the only one defending B. So Splyce have already got the site under control, and in the next 2 to 3 seconds, the bomb's going down. I think CLG are just going to call for a... oh, maybe not now that they've got that kill. I was going to say they might have called for a save here, but I think now that they've at least evened it out into a 4v4, they'll find some right to go back into B and try to retake here. This is it. They put all their chips on the table. 1-for-1 trades won't save the day here. They need clean kills like that from Ethan. And this is exactly what... oh my goodness, Ricky actually spans, but Drone does work once again. That second kill was very impressive from him. And it falls to Roka to close out from up on top of the site. He gets the frag. Splyce are up on match an upset point to stop CLG from going to the Odense finals.
Oh my god, it's actually at the point. And again, you know, they could get to OT and still get the point here.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it though. This is it's perpetually on their mind. Match point. They're getting dominated right now by Splyce. Drone's going in on them. These 2Ks are absolutely critical, and this is just also surprising. I need help processing. I need an adult.
Of course, we still have to wait for LG's win to confirm that CLG would not be going to the grand finals. We'll reserve our judgment on that until it does happen. Ricky actually get the first kill this time, but the scout, they got multiple scouts in their hands. Here, the double scout buy-up from CLG, obviously working with a scrap buy here. They find the flank from Kusa, taking him down, and they catch Ethan on top of Truck. Molly's also going to burn Ricky out of position. They're shutting it down. It's still recoverable for CLG, especially with FNS moving in at an A main flank. But if he fails to impress, and Cutler is spotted early enough, this will be the end of the legacy for CLG. And more than likely, they will not end up at the grand finals. FNS initiates. He did not see that player up on top, so he walks in. They both find each other. He panics a little bit as Semphis drops back down. Cutler will trade that, but Cutler has been overwhelmed, and that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Splyce take control here, and they will be able to steal the match away from CLG. A 2-0 for them, meaning CLG getting 0 points on their final matches. They're currently stuck at, I believe, 42 or 32 points. Regardless, it's 2 points behind what LG have, which means that if LG win their match, which we're going to go right into now, then they will be the 6th team to go to the Odense finals for North America. Let's jump into that match, though, and see what's going to be happening there.
Let's get in there before we miss too much.
Ooh.
13-10, and Rogue actually just won a round